Welcome back to Hooligan Nation. I'm Anthony.
I'm Rocco.
He is him. He is him.
Yes.
We are back for another week of completely original Wednesday material. This week, we're going to talk about Alive 3. Now, before we get started, we're not going to compare Alive 3 to Alive 1. We're not even going to compare Alive 3 to Alive 2. We all know that Alive 1 is where the standard was set. So we're not even going to go into that. We're just going to discuss Alive 3 as a moment in time. Moment in time?
Moment in time. You can't go wrong when you're talking about seeing Kiss live, period. So,
Alive 3 was released May 18th, 1993. It was recorded between November 27th and November 29th, 1992. It was recorded in Cleveland, Detroit, and Indianapolis. It's 66 minutes and 53 seconds long, released by Mercury Records and produced by the Godfather Eddie Kramer. The set list is as follows: Creatures of the Night, Deuce, I Just Wanna, Unholy, Heaven's on Fire, Watching You, Domino, I Was Made for Loving You, I Still Love You, Rock and Roll All Night, Lick It Up, Forever, Take It Off, which at the time was a bonus track, I Love It Loud, Detroit Rock City, God Gave Rock and Roll to You, and the Star Spangled Banner. So your thoughts on Alive 3?
it's a good set list. It's pretty diverse. A lot of different stuff on there. Uh, Looks like they tried to get a lot of flavors from a lot of different of the albums. Not sticking too much to like their normal pattern. There's a decent amount of songs that are normally in their set list that are not part of that.
Yeah, they seem like they did a lot of different things for, what is the Revenge Tour. We're going to get into a lot of those different things during the Revenge episode.
But I mean, overall, it looks to me like it was an homage to that era, to the newer era of Kiss.
Yeah, well, that was if you think about what they did for the Alive 1 record and what they did for the Alive 2 record, they didn't quite do that for Alive 3, but you can see that that was the general idea. Whatever was on Alive 1 didn't go on Alive 2.
Mm.
And
Mm.
that's pretty much not impossible, but it would have been really difficult for them to do for Alive 3. I thought they did a pretty good job with the song choices. You bring Eddie Kramer in. I think I said this for Alive 1 and Alive 2. Like, we're not even going to discuss how live it is. The number one thing is for it to sound good. And Alive 3 sounds really good. If they pipe in, crowd noise, I really could care less. Some people freak. Oh my God, the crowd noise is yeah, it's
Yeah, that I
fake.
don't. Yeah, it doesn't really bother me at all.
I heard an interview once with Eddie Kramer where he said, "How the hell are we supposed to record the band and record the crowd at the same time?"
Right.
And I don't have an answer for that because I don't understand the recording process. But when Eddie Kramer says, "How are we supposed to do that?" He doesn't know how to do it. However, Eddie Kramer thinks it should be done is pretty much good enough for me. Hey, let me ask you a question.
What do you got?
Do you YouTube?
I'm always on YouTube.
When you YouTube, how do you support the YouTubers that you like?
If I find something I dig, I subscribe to it and I hit like right away.
That's a great idea. I'm sure the creators appreciate your support.
I would think so.
You think maybe now's a good time to ask everyone in the audience to support us?
Absolutely.
To everyone in the audience, please subscribe to our little channel. And while you're there, hit the like button.
We're enjoying what we're doing and we want to continue to grow the hooligan community.
We appreciate all your support.
Absolutely.
Alive 3 is the Revenge Tour recorded. In my opinion, it was a very good live show. The Band was, uh, for all intents and purposes, we're going through a hard time. Eric Carr dies. They bring Eric Singer in. My ears, the band didn't skip a beat at all. They were tight, sounded really good live. And I just read an article where Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley came out and said Eric Singer was only supposed to be a temporary replacement. They had no clue how serious it was. These are their words. They expected Eric Carr to fully recover and be back in the band. It's just unfortunate that Eric never recovered. And it's really lucky, actually, for the band that Eric Singer was there, because this might be a little hypocritical of me, but I really couldn't come up with a better replacement for Eric Carr and a third drummer of KISS than Eric Singer.
Hmm.
You know, here you got a guy that everybody hold on to your hats. He's probably the best drummer that ever played in KISS as far as being technically sound. He can sing. How many bands can say that they had three drummers and all three of them could sing?
That's a good point.
That's pretty impressive. And if you think about the back catalog, you need a drummer that can sing.
Yeah, and as far as like the best drummer in KISS, I can't dispute you saying that, but I think you kind of know where I stand. Like my heart is with Eric Carr at all times, but nobody can dispute how versatile Eric Singer is. So I mean, he does a lot of different styles on the drums. He's an excellent drummer.
My favorite member of KISS all time is Peter Criss, but he was also the third best drummer in KISS. Like, do I think that Peter Criss brought things to KISS that Eric Carr and Eric Singer probably couldn't have brought? I do.
Well,
But
if KISS was a jazz band, I think Peter would probably be number one. I had to say it. I had to.
wow. All right. I just don't know where to go with that.
That's a
Either
little
way,
joke, guys.
Alive 3, I think it's a great live record. It's never going to be as good as Alive 1 because Alive 1 is where it all started. I don't think it's ever going to be as good as Alive 2. Look, personally, I think Alive 2 is my favorite of the live records. And part of that reason is because we got a fourth side with some really good studio tracks on it. Alive 2 really captured the moment. Now, I know there's tons of people that are going to say Alive 1 does that, but Alive 1 does that for them. They're a little older than I am. I'm more centered around the Alive 2 era of KISS.
Right, but Alive One had a legendary impact on the band. That's why it's real
Absolutely.
close to the heart with Alive One.
I'm talking about the whole thing, the sound of it, the song choices.
You're getting extra cookies on that album.
Right. Everything about it is just, you know,
The vinyl record's awesome too. When you open it up and everything like that, it's really cool.
And that's another thing is the front cover, the middle, the back cover, the whole thing to me all together. And look, Alive 2 is here, Alive 1 is here. Like
It's not that far away.
No, and but Alive 3 is right here. But Alive 1, Alive 2, and Alive 3, I think all three of them are great live records. I think all three of them sound incredibly great. If you put your headphones on, if you put any of the three of them on and you close your eyes, I do believe you can be transported to a KISS concert. I also believe that that's the point of a live record.
Mm-hmm.
And in KISS's case, somewhat like us, where you could be listening to us right now, and that's great, but we're so much better if you watch us on YouTube because we do goofy shit. when it comes to a KISS live record, you don't get the visuals, but you hear very clearly, you hear fire, bombs, you hear, and it does
I'll put
give
one
you the visual.
and I'll put one word on it. You feel the impact of the moment.
I can close my eyes and visualize what's going on during the concert from an audio recording. And I think you have to give the band credit, but you also have to give Eddie Kramer credit. And if I'm correct, I don't think that Kiss had used Eddie Kramer in at probably at least 15 years. And they went to record a live 3, and who did they call? They called Eddie Kramer, and they called him for a reason. And I absolutely think he came through. Whether he piped in crowd sounds or whatever, you know what, Eddie? If you piped in whatever you piped in, you did a hell of a job of it, and I appreciate the shit out of it.
I don't know if you've experienced this, but I've had friends of mine that really just do not like Kiss, but they're rockers, they like rock music and stuff, and they happen to have gone to a Kiss concert, and I've yet to hear anybody ever not be happy with going to a Kiss concert and taking in the experience, you
Ever.
know, ever. Like they were like, listen, I wasn't a fan of them before I went, but I'll go to any Kiss show.
There's a persona there that not every band has. And again, if you put a live 3 on and you put headphones on, I can picture Kiss and makeup. Give me the bombs, give me the sirens, give me the fire, give me all of that, give me the whole stage show presence, and I can envision them in makeup. I don't believe that you could have done a live 3 during Asylum, Crazy Nights, or Hot in the Shade. Maybe Hot in the Shade live, you could have done it, but you definitely couldn't do it for Asylum and Crazy Nights. Like they were off into the mid 80s glam metal pop. Let's put Rouge on, let's run around. Like, the live sound did change a little bit. This live record is very much, I mean, Revenge to me was very much a return to the Kiss sound. And then they produced a live 3, which I think is part of the reason why a live 3 to me stands up in the realm with a live 1 and a live 2, because they had returned to that. They could have
Uh,
done a live 3. To me, they could have done a live 3 Creatures of the Night tour. They could have done a live 3 Lick It Up tour. They could have done a live 3 Animalized tour, and they would have worked out too. But then they went off the cliff again, and I think it would have been impossible. But then, as Kiss always does, they returned from that cliff, and we got Revenge out of it, and then we got a bonus. We got a live 3 out of it, and I think most Kiss fans should be happy about that.
the only thing I'll say is I get the same feeling that I did when we did a live one. How I say when I listen to this stuff and I hear that live experience, it brings me right back in the crowd again. I've said many times when we used to have different backgrounds, and for those of you who've been with us the entire time, like Kiss concert, that's my happy place. And thank God for video because there's nothing like a Kiss concert. And it's kind of sad that towards the end they weren't the same band anyway. They didn't have the same, the same. Uh, obviously they got older, but just being at a Kiss concert and experiencing as many times as I was lucky enough to have, um, at least you got these albums to listen to kind of like make you get that same feeling. Like it's like with songs and music in general. You hear a certain song, it brings you back to a memory, and the memories that with Kiss are endless for me, and that's another reason why I love the band so much.
We should all be happy that there are platforms out there like YouTube, to where when you're like me,
Amen to that.
it helps to make music timeless. You can order them however you want to order them, but I think a live 1, a live 2, and a live 3 are 3 good live records.
Yeah.
I think they stand up on their own. And
Well,
I think that's what's going to help make this band timeless, possibly forever.
yeah, and I don't think that another band views stage performing the way that Kiss did or ever will. Like I've watched an interview recently, I forget where it was, and Paul called himself like an athlete, and he compared himself to Michael Jordan. And if you think about it, at first you're like, what? But if you think about all the stuff that they wore on stage, and they empty the tank every time they're on stage.
Even when they weren't in makeup, like around this time, there was no standing in front of the microphone. They were always moving. There was always that electric feel to the show. And look, we've all gone to see bands live where they walk out on stage and they play.
Yep.
And they stand there, or in some cases, they sit there and they play. And they
And
don't say much
that's cool for them.
between songs. It's just not my gig. Like, I want, as goofy as some of the shit that Paul Stanley said over the years, if he didn't say anything, I would be disappointed. I'm not disappointed in the goofy shit that he says.
He's always true to who he is. He's always true to himself, and
Right.
he's not always concerned about maybe insulting anybody, but he's real. He keeps it real.
And it wasn't as much a concert as it was a live show experience.
Yep.
And that's the difference. I can't say that I've seen a lot of bands that produced a live show experience. With all that being said, as always, if it's too loud, you're too old. Peace out, Hooligan Nation.